Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Alex Unabridged, and this is my TBR for February. So welcome back to the channel if that is the case. Yes, January is nearly at its end, so time to talk through what I'm going to be reading in February. So let's get straight into it. So first up, I will be continuing with The Terror, which is my quarterly chunk, which I am a third of the way through pretty much now. I am on track with that. It's fantastic so far. And I will also be continuing on with The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs by Steve Broussat, which is my first pick for Historathon 2024. And I'm about halfway through that, so I will finish the other half in February before reading something else in March. Okay, so the main things then for February. Science fiction for the somewhat hesitant, my big old science fiction projects aimed to get me into some of the classic sci-fi. And yeah, so after easing in with a couple of great YA science fiction novels in January, it's time to dive into the first proper block of classic sci-fi this month, which is the ABCs of science fiction, US versus UK. So first up, batting for the US is the A of Isaac Asimov with Foundation, which I have here, which I picked up in my Christmas haul, so that's legit. I'm allowed to read this one. So the blurb for this, in case you don't know it, is the Galactic Empire has prospered for 12,000 years. Nobody suspects that the heart of the thriving empire is rotting, until psychohistorian Harry Seldon uses his new science to foresee its terrible fate. Exiled to the desolate planet Terminus, Seldon establishes a colony of the greatest minds in the Empire, a foundation which holds the key to changing the fate of the galaxy. However, the death throes of the Empire breed hostile new enemies, and the young Foundation's fate will be threatened first. So this one is one of Troy's suggestions for the project, Mr. Troy Tradup. This one I go into with a certain amount of trepidation. I'm not convinced I'm going to like this one. We'll see. I don't know. There's always been something about Foundation that hasn't necessarily kind of intrigued me, so I'll be interested to read this as part of this project. This is definitely one that I'm very, very unsure of in terms of whether I'm going to get on with this or not. So yeah, but we'll see. I have to say, I do love this edition. I do love the design on this, and I don't know whether you can see it, but I do love the little symbols and stuff that are on the back cover there. Yeah, I do like the design of this at the very least. But yeah, we'll find out what I make of Foundation in terms of the story and the writing. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going into it with an open mind, but yeah, this is one that I'm quite uncertain about. Then in the UK's corner, we've got Arthur C. Clarke and Childhood's End. And the blurb for this one is, when the silent spacecraft arrived and took the light from the world, no one knew what to expect. But, although the overlords kept themselves hidden from man, they had come to unite a warring world and to offer an end to poverty and crime. When they finally showed themselves, it was a shock, but one that humankind could now cope with, and an era of peace, prosperity, and endless leisure began. But the children of this utopia dream strange dreams of distant suns and alien planets, and begin to evolve into something incomprehensible to their parents. And soon they'll be ready to join the Overmind, and, in a grand and thrilling metaphysical climax, leave the Earth behind. So this one, I'm pretty excited to read this one, actually. Everything I hear about Clarke's writing makes me think that I'm probably going to enjoy it. And I'm told that this one has kind of a reveal that kind of shocked everybody at the time when it was written in what, the 50s, is it? So yeah, so I really like the sound of the blurb for this one. So we'll see if this lives up to my expectations. Okay then. Next project, TBR, is my month with, and this month, February, I will be spending my month with Mr. Andy Weir. So a bit more science fiction, but some modern stuff, some contemporary stuff versus the classic stuff. So yeah, I read Project Hail Mary at the end of 2022 and absolutely loved it. It is my number 2 book, favourite book of all time at present. So it's time to give Andy Weir, another go with some more stuff, because I've only ever read Project Hail Mary. So I'll be starting off this month with The Martian, and the blurb for the ebook is just, I'm stranded on Mars. I have no way to communicate with Earth. I'm in a habitat designed to last 31 days. If the oxygenator breaks down, I'll suffocate. If the water reclaimer breaks down, I'll die of thirst. If the hab breaches, I'll just kind of explode. If none of those things happen, I'll eventually run out of food and starve to death. So yeah, I'm screwed. So yeah, I think that certainly suggests that that Andy Weir's similar sort of humour from what I experienced in Project Hail Mary is there, which was one of my favourite things about Project Hail Mary, was the humour. I have seen the film of The Martian, which I did enjoy, but I hear from numerous sources that the book is way better than the film. So I'm quite excited to finally read that one. And the second Andy Weir that I'll be reading is Artemis, or at least listening to, because this will be an audiobook. And the blurb for this one is, Jaz Bashara is a criminal. Well, sort of. Life on Artemis, the first and only city on the moon, is tough if you're not a rich tourist or an eccentric billionaire. So smuggling in the occasional harmless bit of contraband barely counts, right? Not when you've got debts to pay and your job as a porter barely covers the rent. Everything changes when Jaz sees the chance to commit the perfect crime with a reward too lucrative to turn down. But pulling off the impossible is just the start of her problems, as she learns that she's stepped square into a conspiracy for control of Artemis itself, and now her only chance at survival lies in a gambit even riskier than the first. So this is an audiobook. It's narrated by Rosario Dawson, so that bodes well. I've enjoyed her performances in various different TV shows over the years, but I do go into this one with a little bit of trepidation. I've not heard great reports about this book, this one of Andy Weir's. So I'm interested to find out what I make of it. But yeah, I want to read the Martian first, because I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy that. And then we'll go into this, and we'll see how I get on with it. Okay then, that's all the project stuff out of the way. Random selection time. So. Digging through the trash is the first one. So I have my trash bin here with all my bits of paper with with all the trash that I own at the moment in it. So let's dig around and find some trash for the month. Okay. Oh, this is an ebook. This is Surviving the Evacuation, London. Okay, so yeah, so this one is an ebook. This was a freebie, and this is one where I'm like, I'm not entirely sure that this is trash, but it kind of sounds like it could be a bit trashy, so it's gone in the trash bin. So this is what the blurb says for this one. This is a first in a series of, I think, quite a few. But yes, this one, the blurb for this is, the outbreak began in New York. Soon it had spread to the rest of the world. People were attacked and infected, and they died. Then they came back. Nowhere is safe from the undead. As anarchy and civil war took grip across the globe, Britain was quarantined. The press was nationalised. Martial law, curfews and rationing were implemented. It wasn't enough. An evacuation was planned. Bill Wright broke his leg on the day of the outbreak. Unable to join the evacuation, he watched from his window as the streets filled with refugees. He watched as the streets emptied once more. He watched as they filled up again, this time with the undead. He is trapped. He is alone. He is running out of food and water. He knows that to reach the safety of the enclaves, he will have to venture out into the wasteland that once was England. On that journey, he will ultimately discover the horrific truth about the outbreak, a decades-old conspiracy, and his unwitting part in it. This is the first volume of his journal. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure at all whether this will be trashy or not, but it's a zombie outbreak in London, so that in itself to me kind of suggests trashiness. But as I say, I have no clue other than that. It was a freebie on I think it came through to me via one of my BookBub emails ages ago. And I thought, yeah, that sounds potentially good fun. So we'll give that one a go. I will probably save that one for the GarbAugust Wasted Weekend 2, which is coming up on the 17th and 18th of February. Details for the event can be found on Olly's channel. I will link to Olly's announcement video, Olly. His announcement video for GarbAugust 2.5, the Wasted Weekend, so you can get all of the details, etc. So I'll probably save that one for that weekend. But yeah, I'm still whittling down my pile of possibilities for what else to read for GarbAugust Wasted Weekend 2024. So I will do a separate little TBR and kind of event video in a couple of weeks. Once I've actually figured out A, how much I can get through, and B, what I'm picking out of my piles of trash that I have. So yes, so that's the trash sorted then. So over to the wheel decides then. I will pop the wheel up on screen and we will give it a spin. Excellent. This is a good one. This will be an audiobook, Different Seasons by Stephen King. This is narrated by Frank Muller as well, who did the narration for the Silence of the Lambs audiobook, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, fab. This has got some of King's best known stories in it. This includes 4 novellas. So I'll just go through the 4 novellas. So you've got Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, which is the story of 2 men convicted of murder, one guilty, one innocent, who form the perfect partnership as they dream up a scheme to escape from prison. You've got Apt Pupil, in which a golden schoolboy entices an old man with a past to join in a dreadful union. You've got The Body, which sees 4 boys venture into the woods and find life, death, and the end of innocence. This is, of course, the basis for Stand By Me, the film, which I've never seen. I kept putting off until I've read The Body. So it means I can get this read and then I can finally watch the film. And then finally, you've got The Breathing Method, which is the tale of a doctor who goes to his club and discovers a woman determined to give birth no matter what. Which that's all I know about that one. It's cool. I'm really excited for some more King short stories actually, because I've been reading Holly for January. So it'd be nice to try and get some King in each month and to have some short stories or novellas from King to kind of break up the novels. That's really good. So I'm really looking forward to that. So Dealer's Choice then, the last 2 on the list. So the first one is one that I didn't get to in December that I said, no, I'm getting to this as soon as possible. And that is The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick. Yeah, I've wanted to read this since a lovely friend sent it to me, and back in I think September or something, and I've not got to it. And so I'm doing it this month, for goodness sake. So yes, this is the blurb for it. Orphan, clockkeeper and thief, Hugo lives in the walls of a busy Paris train station where his survival depends on secrets and anonymity. But then his world suddenly interlocks, like the gears of the clocks he keeps, with an eccentric, bookish girl and a bitter old man who runs a toy booth in the train station. Hugo's undercover life and his most precious secret are put in jeopardy. A cryptic drawing, a treasured notebook, a stolen key, a mechanical man, and a hidden message from Hugo's dead father form the backbone of this intricate, tender, and spellbinding mystery. 284 pages of original drawings, combining elements of picture book, graphic novel, and film. Brian Selznick breaks open the novel form to create an entirely new reading experience. Here is a stunning cinematic tour de force from a boldly innovative storyteller, artist, and bookmaker. So yeah, this should be a fantastic, wonderful, magical experience, I should think. And that's kind of what I want in February, this sort of time. You know, I want something that's going to be lovely to read, magical to read, because February is one of my generally darker months of the year. It's when my brain starts to go, I'm sick of the darkness, I'm sick of the crappy weather, I'm just sick of it all. So I need nice, happy, you know, fun things to read, magical things to read. So that will be, I should think, perfect for that. Okay, and I looked through my my list of books I most want to read for my Read What You Own challenge, and one of those is this one, Lanny by Max Porter. This one looks fantastically, wonderfully weird in some respects, especially in terms of its formatting. This is one where it's got lots of sort of strange looping, overlapping text. And the blurb for this is, not far from London, there is a village. The village belongs to the people who live in it and to those who lived in it hundreds of years ago. It belongs to England's mysterious past and its confounding present. It belongs to families dead for generations and to those who have only recently moved here, such as the boy Lanny and his mum and dad. But it also belongs to dead Papa Toothwort, who was woken from his slumber in the woods. Dead Papa Toothwort, who is listening to them all. So yes, this should be, I think, poetic in its prose, I think maybe some poetry even in there, potentially. It just looks very different, potentially a bit of magic realism. Yeah, I don't know. This, again, another one that I just think could be wonderfully magical for my reading in February. So we'll give that one a go. And then finally, the comic that I've picked for my comic selection this month is Heartstopper, Volume 2. Again, another lovely, lovely, you know, heartwarming type thing. Bit of queer YA graphic novel action. So yeah, Heartstopper Volume 2 by Alice Oseman. I absolutely loved Volume 1 when I read that back in, I think, June last year. And I bought this quite soon afterwards, and then I have never got round to it. So yes, this will be my comics pick for February. And then additionally, if I get through all of this and I have any time left, I am allowed to read a prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers, which I haven't got next to me. It's downstairs in the bookshelf downstairs. It's not a part of my Read What You Own challenge because I only recently got it. I only recently bought it earlier this month, in fact, with Christmas book vouchers. But I really, 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 really want to read it because the first one in that series, in the Monk and Robot series, A Song for the Wild Bill, was my #1 book of last year. So if I get through all of that stuff and the GarbAugust Wasted Weekend, and I still have any time left in February, then I'm allowed to read the A Prayer for the Crown Shy, because it's only about 160 pages, and it'll be a very easy read, in terms of, like, you know, I know it's compelling, or it should be if it's anything like the first one, compelling and engaging stuff. So, but we'll see on that one. So I think that's everything. That is plenty of fun stuff to read in February. Do let me know in the comments if you've read any of the books that I mentioned today, or if there's anything that you've got on your own wish list, TBR, etc. Thanks very much for watching, folks. As always, I'll hopefully see you again for more ramblings in my next video, which will most likely be my wrap up for my month with Ira Levin, and then also for my general January wrap-up, which will come next weekend. But from me, for now, that's ta-ra.